Welcome to Lrn Fzx. My channel is all about the fabulous science of physics, Newton's laws of motion, simple machines, static electricity, momentum, circuits, plus Freaky Physics Fridays, Tech Tip Tuesdays, and Tuesday Tales of Paraguay. Welcome to Bike Physics. My channel is all about bicycles, motorcycles, South American adventures that I call my cheap Chinese moto in Paraguay. We've got some similar interests, so we decided to collaborate on a topic near and dear to my heart, playing in traffic. I mean, pedaling in traffic. Like my gloves, by the way? Keep my fingers nice and toasty in the winter. I've seen your videos, and you spend a lot of time cycling on the roads around Pittsburgh. Do you ride on the right side or the left side of the road? You ask that like the answer is binary. I ride the wrong way on one-way streets in bad neighborhoods. Sometimes I hit the sidewalk if the street's dangerous. Slow traffic, I'll ride the center line of the road. Mostly, I follow the law, ride on the right side. Why we pedal on the right and walk on the left-hand side of the road, this time on Bike Physics. So, why is that? Why break the law? Or why should we be riding on the right side of the road? Well, both actually, but mostly, why do you ride on the right side of the road? First, it's all about safety, or perceived safety. I want to reduce my risk, so I'll do what I think is necessary to reduce my negative interaction with drivers. Not with traffic, but with drivers. Not with cars, with drivers, while riding hard on the road. I spent some time a few years ago checking out the stats on bicycle and motorcycle crashes. Turns out that I'm in a lot more danger from the front than from behind. Something like 70% of my danger comes from the 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock positions. I feel like I'm in more danger from behind since I can't see what's coming, but that's not statistically true. So I've got to watch for cars turning in front of me and pulling out in front of me. Have you experienced that danger from the front? Absolutely. Now, this thing is going to represent a car or a truck, and I'll just tell you a couple of the stories that I've had to deal with, a couple of the drivers I've had to deal with. Now, riding along, middle of the road, I'm wearing bright white, it's raining, I've got a flasher on the front and the rear, there's a truck pulling out right here, stops, clearly stops, I'm again riding the middle of the road, he's pulling out of a parking lot, pulls out in front of me, but not even in front of me, into me. So I'm riding the front corner of the vehicle, I'm like leaning on the car. Ended up, I went to the ground and used the car to go down. He didn't run me over, which is really nice. Then there was this one time that I was riding along, again, middle of the road, and the guy pulls out. And this happened like 4 or 5 separate times, and pulls out. No driver has a clue how to actually drive. So they pull out, and they see you and stop in front of you. What are you supposed to do? You can't go around this way. You can't go around that way. What are you supposed to do? Then there's this other time, these other times when cars driving in front of me and then suddenly slows down, slams on the brakes, and just turns right in front of me. Or turns with no warning into a driveway or does something dumb like that. And it's happened where I've been taken down. But things like this happen sometimes. I wear bright colors. I wear a big bright helmet. I have a flasher on the front. I have a flasher on the rear. I've got reflective tape on the helmet. I've got reflective tape on the bicycle front and rear. I'm trying to make myself visible so that the drivers don't do this, but it does happen. And how about the danger from behind? From behind, not so much. I've got to watch for landscape trailers that are wider than the trucks pulling them. Usually people see me and give me space as they pass, especially now with that 4-foot law in Pennsylvania. All right, tell us about that law. All right, so you're supposed to leave a 4-foot buffer for any cyclists as they pass. Now this is 6 feet, so 4 feet between the outside of the cyclist and the outside of the vehicle. Now 4 feet is quite a distance, especially when you're considering like the right side of me to the outside right of your car. That's a lot of space, and most people have no idea how wide their cars are, and they forget their big fat mirrors that stick out in that calculation. So most drivers on the road actually pass with space for you? Yeah, mostly they're pretty good about it, but I ride hard and fast and aggressively in traffic, so people tend to give me respect since I'm trying not to hold anybody up. I've ridden slowly in traffic before with a friend. It's horrible. Most people need bike lanes. All right, now to my physics question. Did you know that the reason that you ride on the right side and you're in more danger from the front goes back to classical physics? Tell me more. So So imagine I'm driving my car at 35 miles an hour on a local road and you're standing on the corner waiting for the pat bus with the radar gun. How fast do you measure my speed to be? 35, right? Yeah, now walk briskly toward my car at 5 miles an hour. So 35 miles an hour and 5 miles an hour. How fast does your radar gun measure our relative velocity? 30? No, it's 40. When you're approaching each other, you add the velocities. So how is that classical physics? Galileo dealt with that concept back in the early 1600s. It's called relative velocity. When you're moving toward each other, you add the velocities for relative velocity. If you're pedaling along at 20 miles an hour and that same car is coming towards you at 35 miles an hour, and both of those are measured with respect to the road, right? Yes, the bicycle speedo measures 20 miles an hour and the car speedo shows 35. How fast does your radar gun on the bicycle show the approach speed? That's 55 miles an hour. So that does not give either of us much time to react to stupidity. That's why you're going to get hit from the front and not generally from the rear. If the car's approaching from the rear at 35 miles an hour and you're traveling 20, what's the approach speed of that car? 15 miles an hour. That gives plenty of time for the driver to see me and to compensate for my presence. Exactly. You pedal on the right side of the road to reduce the relative velocity of the cars that are closest to you. And pedaling on the left is dangerous for that reason, but walking is different. We walk so slowly that the difference in approach speed isn't that much. Using that same 35 mile an hour car and an average of 3 miles an hour walking speed, you're talking about 35 minus 3 is 32, plus 3 is 38, 32 to 38 miles an hour. That's not a big difference. So it's preferable to see the oncoming car while you're walking. And while you're walking, you can easily step off the road if there's an approaching car, but on the bicycle, it's a whole lot more dangerous. On that non-existent or trash-covered shoulder. And that's why we ride on the right side of the road. It's all basic physics and relative velocity. Add the speeds when heading toward each other, and subtract the speeds when you're heading in the same direction for that relative velocity. But what if the velocities aren't parallel? Oh yeah, perpendicular speeds are a whole lot more complicated. Two-dimensional vectors and vector addition is necessary. Plenty of crashes happen with almost perpendicular velocity. So I'll link a video or two on that topic. Thanks, I'll check it out. That's it for me. And for me. Be sure to subscribe to his Lrn Fzx channel for physics and education, Tech Tip Tuesday, Freaky Physics Friday. And check out his Bike Physics channel for DIY bicycle projects. And my favorites, his South American videos using the bicycle and motorcycle as vehicles to tell cultural stories of Paraguay. You're heading down again this summer, right? Yup, lots more adventures to come. And that is the physics reason why you should be pedaling on the right-hand side of the road. It's for safety. Thanks for watching Bike Physics for all the bicycles and motorcycles and family adventures. And thanks for that thumbs up too. Really helps a lot. New videos most Tuesdays. Subscribe for more. And if you haven't figured it out yet, I got this other channel called Lrn Fzx. It's all about physics and education and that kind of thing. So check that out too.